How's it going, guys? In today's tutorial I'm going to be going over some of the steps, some of the requirements that are going to be uh, accomplished during psychology of color. The very first step, of course, is going to be to go to File New and make sure your document is set to inches, and make sure you have 8.5 as your width and you have 11 as your height. Resolution here will go to 200. Title, we'll go ahead and name this Psychology of Color, and we'll go ahead and click Create. That is our very first step that we're going to be doing. Our second step is if you don't already see these rulers that I have right here, we're going to be pressing Control R. Control R will bring out those rulers off at the edge. Now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and go off to the edge of your ruler, and you're going to go ahead and click and hold, and you're going to drag these blue lines. You're going to want to set them at exactly ½ inch. So from 0 to 1, ½ inch right there. And then go ahead and drag the same thing, ½ inch over here, ½ inch up and down, and then ½ inch from right there. Now this is really going to be our safe zone, meaning that none of our information can cross these specific words, but your artwork and all that can pass those specific lines. Okay, so next in our checklist, and I'm just going to be going over this fairly quickly, create this, choose a color. My favorite color is red, so I'm going to go ahead and go with red. So I'm going to create a title, call it Psychology of Red. Right now my letters are set to white, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight those letters, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go with a bright red. There we go. And I'm going to make this fairly big. So a lot of these things, as far as like me resizing, like I'm expecting you guys to already know how to do this, but if you don't know how to resize your letters and stuff, just make sure that you ask somebody else that does, or try to figure it out. But edit, transform, guys, it's right there. Control T is the shortcut. I hope a lot of you by now already know how to resize your text. So I'm gonna go ahead and resize this here, and I'm gonna actually go with a different font. I want something playful here since we are doing a creative poster. So let's see here, some cool, maybe something like this. This could work. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually select Psychology of, copy that and erase it, and I'm gonna type that out in its own little words here. I'm gonna put this right here, and then this one, oops, bring this one down here. Maybe put it really big like that. So this is going to be my title, and one of the things that I want you all to play around with is to understand that your title doesn't necessarily have to be at the very top of your screen. It can be pretty much anywhere that you choose your title to be. So Psychology of Red, notice that my letters do not cross that blue line. Alright, so next in my thing is going to be to research my color. So I believe I actually have some stuff already here for red. So I'm just gonna copy this really quick because I don't have that much time to cover everything. But after you do your research, this is when you actually get to use a type box. So instead of just clicking, you're gonna go ahead and click and create a box, and you're gonna put in all your information. Now all your information needs to be in a font that is legible and easy to read. So I'm gonna go with something like maybe Times New Roman, Times Regular right here, or Times New Roman Regular. I'll go ahead and set this to around 14. And so you're going to go ahead and do your information that you need, but for right now I'm going to put mine as this right here, because I'm not actually doing the entire poster. So body, research your color, so you need to have some research on your color and make sure you have the body copied in as your information. And graphics and pictures, so for here you can go ahead and go over to like red cars, or I don't know, I mean red means that, you know, it's like fast, it's emotional, so meaning of red. So let's go ahead and search that, go to images, and so we might be able to find a lot of cool stuff in here. So like maybe some flowers, because I know it means like, it can also mean love and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and look up for some red flowers. And then you can go ahead and use whatever images you want. If you need help on how to get your images onto Photoshop, just let me know. But you can always right-click, save the image, or right-click and copy the image. So I'll go with something like this one right here. Go ahead and copy the image, and I'll go ahead and come over to Photoshop and paste the image. Now, I've showed you guys how to remove stuff from its backgrounds, right? And so that's what I'm actually going to do here. I'm going to select the rows, because although the image is nice and all that, we can get really creative with how we design this poster. So think about that as you're working with your design. So I'm only going to want this flower, so copy and paste, get rid of that. And so now I have this flower, and it's not cut out the best, but that's just because I'm trying to do this fairly quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and put this flower maybe off to the side like this. Just like so, and then put it off to the back. And I'm going to use a color that is maybe like dark red, and even a darker red right here, and grab my gradient tool and go ahead and just put a gradient down there, and put this guy over to like multiply, overlay, maybe multiply might be okay. And just go ahead and just lower the opacity a bit. And so as you can see, I have some little mistakes here, so I'm just going to go ahead and erase those mistakes. Right there, yeah. There we go. And so I'm starting to see that maybe this can actually go like maybe like a pinkish color right there, and this might even be able to go like a dark pink, or no, I'll just leave this one, switch it over to white, and switch this one over to white. And so we want to keep it as, you know, red and all that as possible, right? But we can, you know, use different modes here to try to justify for what we want, and try to get it to pop out. So right click, blending options, and let's drop shadow. Let's make this shadow a little bit smaller. Here we go, so something like that. And so you can see that, you know, I'm starting to create something here, and I'll have to fix this letters later on, and so on and so forth, but let's just keep going. So the name of the color as a headline, so that's check. So check, 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 check. So principles of design. Principles of design is pretty much where you have to select repetition, or, you know, rhythm, or all those that we had covered before in the past. You also have to make sure you have contrast. So some repetition, maybe I can put like shapes since I need shapes, right? And I can do like little circles here. And so here I'm just holding Alt to replicate my shapes. And go ahead and move this over somewhere else. Maybe even switch it over to white. Maybe put it right here or something. I don't know. This text needs to be aligned somewhere else. But see, now I have these little circles here that I can maybe change the colors to like a dark red, darker red, or that you can't see that one. But, you know, something like that. And so I can maybe decorate this with like a circle. And this is using repetition. You can also use, you know, balance. So like right now we have something really big right here. So we can maybe move these guys up here to try to create balance with our design. So if I have this here, let's just get rid of this for now. This up here in this corner kind of balances out with this, so your design is balanced out. That's one way to use repetition and balance and all those. So those are your principles of design. Emphasis, you want to make sure that what's most important is seen. So maybe I want to add like red Ferrari. Something like this one here. Again, you want to make sure that you're not copy image, paste image. You want to make sure that you're not just leaving it with the background. So I'm going to go ahead and use my selection tool and try my best to select this as best as possible. I'm not going to do such a great job because I want to go through this fairly quickly. But yeah, so there we go. I'll go ahead and press Control C, Control V, get rid of this guy. And so, I mean, there's some mistakes obviously, but I'll go ahead and move this guy maybe down here. And switch them over to the bottom of everything. So that kind of creates an issue with my wording, so I can move my wording up here, or maybe just leave it here in the center. And you know, you play around with it, and you find out what it is you want to do as you're doing it. Other than that, you have to use the shape tool as well, which I already have here. And so there you'd see that I have all my checks already completed. So check, 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 check. And then of course, the most important part is to make sure you have something that looks creative and works. So as you're doing all these, make sure that you are being creative with your poster. Just a couple of things, make sure you know how to adjust your blue lines. Any questions that you have with Photoshop, just go ahead and let me know. But for the most part, a lot of you should already know how to kind of work with Photoshop, so you know, do your best. That's it for today's assignment, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and let's see what you all can come up with so that we can present these colors to the class. Thanks. See you all on the next one.